Today, wholesale prices see their biggest annual increase on record in November, another sign of persistent inflation. And cryptocurrency platform FTX making a sponsorship deal with the Golden State Warriors. What does that mean for the Chase Center and for FTX? And officials warn about a software flaw. Hundreds of millions of devices around the world could be at risk. So what is it? That and much more coming up on NTD Business. Good evening. Great to have you with us. I'm Paul Graney. One of the Las Vegas's most iconic casinos is about to have a new owner. MGM announced the Mirage is known for its exploding volcano and for ushering in the modern era of mega casinos when it opened in 1989. MGM bought it in the year 2000 but sold it to raise money for new investments overseas. And the world's largest car maker, Toyota, is planning to invest $35 billion in developing electric vehicles. It wants to have 30 models ready by 2030. But it seems the car maker isn't as gung-ho about EVs as other automakers. It only expects around a third of its vehicle sales to be all electric by 2030. It says a lack of charging stations is a big factor, and that it's also investing heavily in hybrids. Toyota recently refused to join a commitment with other top car makers to phase out fossil fuel cars by 2040, reportedly saying it wants to become a carbon neutral company instead. And today, United Airlines just invested in Zero Avia. It's a company focused on powering electric motors with hydrogen fuel cells. The deal means United could buy up to 100 zero-emission engines. Air travel has been described as the most carbon-intensive activity. United CEO Scott Kirby says hydrogen electric engines are one of the most promising paths to zero-emission air travel, for smaller aircraft at least. Zero Avia also says it's attracted $115 million of investment from a range of stakeholders, like Shell Ventures and Amazon's Climate Pledge Fund. But despite the push for renewables, the U.S. solar industry is expected to grow slower than expected next year. NTD's Michael Corder has details on a new report.
The U.S. solar industry will grow 25% less than expected next year, thanks to supply chain issues and rising costs. That's according to a new report by the Solar Energy Industries Association and Wood Mackenzie. Some solar developers are already feeling the pain.
We're pushing all of our construction to the second half of next year already because of the supply chain differences.
The report says commercial solar deployments declined 10% and community deployments are down 21%. This is due to equipment delivery delays and interconnection issues. David Olszewski is the founder of Sunshare Community Solar Companies. He thinks the rising costs are curbing growth.
You'll see a lot of companies delaying construction to try to wait until price shocks decrease so that they could be passing along these lower costs to customers eventually.
The worker shortage is also an issue.
Much more expensive to hire workers in. A lot of people are competing with infrastructure jobs, new housing, all sorts of things that are using workers that build solar projects as well. So that's driving up costs in addition to supply chain issues.
Trade uncertainty is also burdening the solar industry. Bob Bilbrook is the managing director at Capture. He says renewable energy development relies on sufficient quantities of rare earth materials. Almost 95% of these materials that ship to the U.S. or Canada are produced and refined by China.
And this could be a national security threat, not having enough of these rare earth materials. Solar panels is just the tip of the iceberg.
And this problem in the solar industry could affect other parts of the economy. Bilbrook takes housing policies in California as an example.
Solar panels have to be part of your house on a new build for a house, which confounds the problem because when you're already short supplied, so this could become a major economic issue.
The report concludes that forecasted volumes remain lower than what's required to meet President Biden's climate goals. Michael Corder, NTD News.
And a merger deal between U.S. chipmaker Magnachip and a Chinese private equity firm has been scrapped over national security concerns. They first struck the $1.4 billion merger agreement in March, but the Chinese side Wise Road says they had to scrap the deal because the U.S. wouldn't approve the merger. The companies announced the news Monday, with Magnachip getting a termination fee of $70 million. U.S. Treasury Department said in August the deal posed risks to national security, while the U.S. Committee on Foreign Investment ordered the deal to be put on hold in June. And hundreds of millions of devices worldwide could be exposed to a newly revealed software vulnerability. A cyber official warned industry executives on Monday to address what she calls one of the most serious flaws she's ever seen. The vulnerability is in a Java-based software called Log4j. Some of the world's biggest tech firms use it to log data, but experts say suspected Chinese hackers are already attempting to use it to break into computer networks that could take weeks to address the vulnerabilities. Hackers reportedly had more than a week's head start on exploiting the software flaw before it was publicly disclosed. Now organizations are in a race against time to figure out if their systems were exposed. And just a day after winning Time's Person of the Year, the world's richest man, Elon Musk, is in the spotlight again, tweeting that Tesla will make some merchandise buyable with Dogecoin. After the tweet, Dogecoin skyrocketed over 30% in early trading to as high as 22 cents. That was from a low of about 16 cents, before simmering down to around 18 cents for most of the day. Dogecoin is a meme coin, which is a coin that's related to a theme or a joke and usually not taken seriously. The original creators started Dogecoin as a joke and already abandoned the project 6 years ago. And people going to San Francisco's Chase Center for basketball games may soon see the FTX logo everywhere. The cryptocurrency platform FTX will pay the Golden State Warriors about $10 million for the right to plaster its brand on their properties. NTD's Faye Quarter has more.
The Golden State Warriors are making a deal with cryptocurrency platform FTX. FTX will pay the Golden State Warriors over $10 million to global rights.
There's a lot of signage that could be put together through the stadium of, the Golden State Arena, as well as, signage on G League jerseys, as well as the NBA 2K sports team. And just continued signage at the Chase Center.
Solo Cisse is co-founder of social marketplace app Galaxy. Cisse says the deal brings more attention to crypto.
Super exciting for the industry as you continue to see some integration with blockchain and crypto companies into mainstream sports. You saw a little while ago, Staples Center got renamed to Crypto.com Arena.
Alex Carabre is head of growth at decentralized search engine Presearch. Carabre says FTX popped up only around 3 years ago and is now a force to be reckoned with.
FTX isn't the most dominant, but they've had the most growth. So they've really popped up in the last 2 or 3 years. The biggest players in the space for centralized exchanges are Binance and Coinbase.
Carabre says FTX makes money by taking a small percentage of the fee on trades. Faye Quarter, NTD News.
And Nike is buying a sneaker design firm, not in real life, but in the metaverse. Just another venture into the virtual world for the world's largest shoe company. NTD's Phil Zoe has the story.
Nike is buying sneaker designer Rtfkt, a small company that designs virtual sneakers. The virtual design firm was created just last year and has raised about $10 million from investors. Nike didn't say the price it had paid, but the design studio was last valued at $30 million back in May. This is not the first time Nike is venturing into the metaverse, as it's been doing so with video games and even a metaverse studio. One analyst said buying the virtual sneaker firm might help Nike speed up its Crypto Kicks project, which are basically Nike virtual sneakers. The metaverse is a virtual environment on the internet where users can buy virtual land or virtual clothes for their avatars in the form of crypto assets called NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. Nike's CEO says the purchase will help Nike better serve athletes in sport, gaming, and culture. Phil Zoe, NTD News.
And Wall Street ended lower again today. The Dow fell 107 points, about 0.3%. S&P 500 lost 35 points, about 0.75%. The Nasdaq dropped 176, about 1.1% today. And wholesale prices rose at their fastest annual pace on record in November, adding to concerns about inflation. The Labor Department says wholesale prices increased 9.6% in the 12 months through November. That's the highest pace in the history of the series, which dates back to 2010. On a monthly basis, producer prices jumped by 0.8%. While that's lower than January's record high, it's still nearly double the pace of October. Wholesale prices are a leading indicator of consumer inflation, which last month jumped by 6.8%, the fastest pace in nearly 40 years. And today's report comes on news 25% of Americans say rising prices are the greatest retirement threat, up from 8% last year. It's according to Allianz Life Insurance Company. So joining us is Joseph Carson, former chief economist with AllianceBernstein. Joseph, great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Joe, we see a considerable number of Americans, an increasing number of Americans, worried that inflation is going to be a threat to their retirement plans. Should they be worried given that equities and real estate are rising along with prices?
Well, I think the people that are expressing that concern are those that are mostly on fixed income rather than have a big exposure to equities. And certainly the inflation numbers are pretty bad. They hit the lower middle income group very hard because they're in basic food items and energy costs, but they're now spreading to other items. So it's something that they haven't seen in a long time. By my count, the numbers haven't been this bad since the late 70s, early 80s. So it's something that they have to be mindful of, and it's not going to come down anytime soon.
We see the Fed retired their transitory narrative a couple of weeks ago. How much longer do you think we'll see rising prices for?
Well, I'm not sure we're going to have more months that show larger increases year on year, but I don't think inflation is going to come back down to a 2% level for a long period of time. I think it can easily settle on 4 to 5%. Because I think there's many catalysts for additional inflation down the road, particularly on the labor side.
I read an interesting stat today that even if inflation were at 3%, what are we at, like 7% now? Even if we were at 3% after 24 years, your purchasing power had been cut in half.
Yeah, but I think this is going to change going forward. I think for the first time in a long time, given the labor market strength, you could probably see wages outpacing price increases for the next couple of years. Remember, we're down to almost 4% unemployment. And for the first time in 20-some years, we have more job openings than we have people unemployed. So I think workers are going to gain at the expense of business going forward.
Joe Carson, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
And independent businesses are reportedly raising prices at a rate not seen since the 1970s. The National Federation of Independent Businesses' latest data shows owners are trying to counter rising costs for materials and labor. But even with higher selling prices, businesses are reporting smaller profits. And even with higher wages, businesses are still struggling to find talent. 48% of owners reported job openings that could not be filled. So joining us is Holly Wade, Executive Director at the NFIB's Research Center. Holly, great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Holly, we see another report today. The PPI prices or wholesale prices rising at a historic rate. From your report, we see these rising prices are really eating into small business profits. How sustainable is this for small businesses?
Sure. So we did release our Small Business Economic Trends Survey today, and small business owners are having a very difficult time navigating increased prices as far as what they're having to absorb as inventory costs of operation, and then having to pass those costs cost increases along to their customers. It's stressful. They still have to compete with their larger counterparts. And so it's a very difficult time for small businesses right now.
Can you talk a little bit as well on how small businesses are investing in their operations? We see investment in capital expenditure and outlays is maybe taking a back seat, I believe, because of the uncertainty about the future.
Sure. So yes, uncertainty is an issue. Right now, they're investing in their employees and trying to fill those unfilled positions that they have right now. It's a very competitive labor market, and so they're doing all that they can to support their current workforce while trying to attract applicants for those open positions. So between increased compensation costs in operating their firm and supply chain disruptions that are increasing the costs of supplies and inventory, they're having to deal with a lot of challenges related to how to absorb those costs, and then unfortunately for many having to pass on those costs to customers and still being able to compete. So a lot of moving parts for small business owners right now, a lot of stresses. And for their part of it, oftentimes it's the owner who has to make all of these decisions, him or herself. So it's very challenging right now.
Holly Wade, NFIB, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Kroger, the country's biggest traditional grocery chain, is ending some benefits for unvaccinated workers. Comes as some big employers are trying to encourage more workers to get vaccinated as virus cases rise again. Kroger says if workers are not vaccinated and they get infected, they'll no longer get up to 2 weeks paid emergency leave. Also for non-union or management workers, if they're not vaccinated, they'll need to pay an extra $50 a month for health care. Hourly workers won't have to pay the fee. Meanwhile, Kroger is offering incentives for those who do get the shot. It's giving out $100 to fully vaccinated workers. Kroger employs almost 500,000 people in the United States. And amid the labor shortage, while many companies are offering bonuses or higher pay to lure and keep workers, a Florida business is offering a drawing for 2 brand new homes. It's according to an Orlando Sentinel report. Employees need to be with the company for at least a year to qualify for the drawing. The company's planning to hold the drawing next December. It has bought 2 lots, plans to build homes on them. And its CEO says it thought about other incentives too, like giving away a car or a vacation. Then he decided it would be nice for his workers to enjoy their own homes instead of renting. We're going to take a quick break, but still to come this evening. How would you like living on the water and visiting a different city every couple of days? It's possible for a price. And Christmas markets in Croatia bustle with festive cheer. The opportunity to celebrate is drawing tourists from abroad too. We have that and more coming up on NTD Business.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. Cancel culture has not only affected myself and MyPillow, but millions of you out there. Before all this started, I had already written in my memoir, I dedicate this book to anyone that's looking for hope. Well, right now, we're all looking for hope. I believe that my story is going to bring inspiration and hope to everyone. By the time you're done reading my book, you will believe that with God, all things are possible. To thank you all for your support, I'm offering some of my best prices ever on MyPillow products, including this exclusive bundle. You get my book and these 5 MyPillows. They all have beautiful scenes and verses from the Bible, such as Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. This 6-pack bundle is regularly $219. Now it's just $99.98 and free shipping with your promo code. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below. Thank you and God bless.
You are not just watching a performance. You are witnessing a culture reborn. Now, you'll see what the modern world has never seen. China, before communism. Shenyun 2021, live on stage. Get tickets now at shenyun.com.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back. What if you could go on a cruise on a super yacht for the rest of your life? Well, community yachts are making it possible. NTD's Evelyn Lee has more.
Set to launch in 2023, the company Storylines is building an over 740-foot-long yacht that will house almost 550 residences on board. What's so special about this is that it's not just offering cruises to people going on vacation. The community yacht will be a floating home for those who want to live on the sea. And it will eventually take its residents across 6 continents. And interior studios on average $1 million, but penthouse suites can go up to $8 million. That's for almost 2,000 square feet with access to a private deck. On the vessel, there are 20 restaurants and bars, a marina landing, 3 pools, a sun deck, a pet exercise area, and a 10,000-book library, among other things. Community yachts and other floating homes are reportedly gaining momentum now, especially among those who want to escape the city and have the means to look for an alternative. Evelyn Lee, NTD News.
The port of Barcelona is now a leader in the Mediterranean for refitting and maintenance of yachts, and for the ultra-wealthy super yachts. NTD's Andrew Thomas has the details.
Since the early 1990s, the number of yachts moored at the port of El Marina has increased dramatically, and the pandemic highlighted the perks wealthy owners enjoy.
The world of yachts is now open to a wider niche of billionaires, and this pandemic we've suffered from has helped them to discover it. People owning their own yachts were able to create their own bubble and stay on board in different locations around the world, without the need of being under lockdown in a city.
The number of super yachts in the world has more than doubled in the past decade. Right now, over 20 super yachts are being serviced here at the same time. The average cost of a refit is around $1 million, but can go up to $22 million.
For some ships, the cost for decoration is $17,000 per square meter, some $34,000 per square meter, and some ships reach $68,000 per square meter. Then you must add personal works of art. It isn't just about the materials. In the end, the total cost depends on many different factors, including the material. Costs can be exorbitant, from $339 million to $678 million. We will never know.
Over 600 crew members live on board superyachts while they are refitted or maintained. Rtfkt is one of them. It's one of the world's newest superyachts. The 260-foot hybrid superyacht is easily recognizable for its geometric glass windows. Its annual running costs average just under 10% of its $150 million price tag.
You know, there's a lot more money in the world now than there was after the last recession. There's a lot more wealth, and also too, it's harder to get the reward or the satisfaction out of life, and yachting brings something at a totally different level and a more controllable vacation.
The market is booming at the moment. According to Boat International, year-over-year sales rose by 46% during the first quarter of 2021. As the economy started to bounce back, meaning more potential customers for MB92. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
And fans of diet soda are noticing a trend on grocery store shelves. The word diet is disappearing from packaging. It's being replaced with the words zero or zero sugar. Marketing experts say it's because the word diet has fallen out of fashion with millennials and Gen Zers. No-calorie drinks first became popular in the 1960s and are still popular. According to Mintel, a market research company, the retail diet soft drink market in 2020 hit $11.2 billion. And Christmas gift givers, listen up. Time to send presents and well wishes to loved ones is now. The U.S. Postal Service warns this week is expected to be the busiest of the year for holiday shipping. It expects to sort more than 2 billion pieces of mail. What that means for you is you better send those cards and gifts pronto if you want them to arrive on time. Regular USPS retail ground shipping has a holiday cutoff date of December 15th. For UPS, December 21st is the deadline for its 3-day select service when shipping in the United States. And if you're shipping anything through FedEx, the last day for most ground services is December 15th. For FedEx Express, you can buy yourself some more time with deadlines starting December 21st and ending December 24th for same-day delivery. And Christmas markets in Croatia are bustling with festive cheer this year, despite being scaled back. Attendees say they're happy it's taking place and business owners are making the most of it. NTD's Andrew Thomas has the story.
Here in the Croatian capital of Zagreb, crowds are out to enjoy the lights, mulled wine, and steamed sausages in the city's decorated streets, as long as people attending can produce vaccine passes and adhere to social distancing.
As humans, we are all social creatures, and it's very important for us to socialize. And if we do it in open air, the risk of getting infected with the virus is much lower.
Unlike other European countries, there is no mask mandate for outdoor spaces, and the opportunity to revel and gallivant is drawing tourists from abroad too.
I've only just arrived and everything looks great. It's really good to see something like this happening. I'm from Slovenia, and over there things are still closed down and it's not as pretty. And that's why I like coming here to spend my weekends in Zagreb. I'm enjoying it.
A new threat that business owners now fear is rising inflation. Restaurant owners like Marin Madak are making the most of the market.
Well, we restaurant owners are certainly very happy about seeing the Christmas market take place. A lot of my colleagues thought there wouldn't be a market this year at all. Finally, it arrived, and we are really happy that it's happening. While at the same time, in some other countries, there's nothing like this going on.
This year, city authorities decided to put more emphasis on open-air events and creatively use open spaces. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
That's the latest business updates for today, but you can still catch NTD Evening News with Stephanie at Cox. That's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. For NTD Business, it's all for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Did you know YouTube only keeps selective videos on its platform? So if you want to make sure you get the full picture, just subscribe to our newsletter. Go to newsletter.ntd.com and sign up. It's free.